What's up, folks? Now I can see you. Let me make sure. Oh, I can hear myself. Okay. You turn that off so I can just. I got to tell you, this is what, the second week that we have tried scheduling these out in advance and just doesn't work. Yeah, we're definitely going to have to try and figure something out in the middle of this next week. Figure that out so that I don't know if you hit the like notify me button, which I did on my end and I haven't gotten notified yet. So, you know, my apologies if you are wanting to be notified by these and they aren't happening. We're going to figure it out. And it might just take until this retrograde is over. I don't know. We'll see. We will figure it out. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome if you've been here before. Welcome if you haven't. My name is Ahna Hendrix. I am a spiritual guide, Akashic Soul channel, and the host of the Soul Driven podcast, a weekly podcast where we explore the intersection of living a soulful and spiritual life in a driven and ambitious world. What is up? Happy Friday to you. Not sure where you're at, but here it is rainy. I went for a walk this morning at this park. It's really cool. It's very swampy and like super green right now. And there was this alligator making its way through the lake that I was walking around. And I got a really cool video of it. And it was crazy because like when I came back around, like it was waiting in preparation for something it could eat to get close enough so that it could like lunge out of the water. And I took another photo of it. And I was just standing there thinking, because it was very close to me. I mean, it was probably, I don't know, 4 feet, maybe 5 feet away. And I'm just thinking like, I probably should stop taking a photo now and be on my way because this dude was big. And I've never had an alligator come after me before, but like, I don't really know if I want to, you know what I'm saying? My mind tells me that I could get away, but I kind of like my legs. I want to keep my leg or my foot or whatever else it might grab. You know what I'm saying? And I got a lot of meat on my lower extremities, so it could definitely do some damage. Anyway, when I first started going to that park when I moved here to Wilmington, North Carolina, I would always share like videos and be like, I'm so cool because I'm like running in the park where there's alligators and because it's pretty awesome to be running and look over and you're like, oh, hey, okay. I grew up in the mountains and we don't see alligators. So, just saying. So what's up? How has your week been? What's up, Stan? Yes, I'm very glad I didn't get eaten by an alligator. I feel like it would kind of be like a Hook, the Hook, Captain Hook remake. I've got, like I said, so much meat in my lower extremities. I feel like I'd get a chunk and it'd be like, I have to have more. So whether I'm saving myself from that or someone else who might come along who's a bit more skin and bones, whatever the case may be. But yes, so happy Friday. I'd love to know how your previous week has gone. And it's been a big week. It's been a really, really big week. And we're going to dive into that. And I have something for you to help support. Again, we'll dive into that in a minute. But just in case you aren't familiar, the days are winding down for the early bird on the Confidence series, which is a 6-week healing journey with the Akasha. If you are someone who struggles with self-doubt, if you are wanting to live life from a more empowered place, if you are wanting to step into more of who you are, this is a beautiful, beautiful course to do that. We're going to be diving in each week into different areas of our life, big topics, but also zeroing in very specifically. So the first week is relationships, and with relationships, we will be focusing on boundaries and how we show up. And so I highly recommend checking that out. I will leave all the links down in the comment area after, after this video is completed. If that calls to you, learn more. You can also check out my most recent podcast episode about the Confidence series to really get like a nice chunky background view, some context of where it came from, why I felt called to bring this forward. It was very divinely led. It's a super cool story. But you can check that out there. And of course, the link will send you to the landing page where you can get more information. Contact me if you have questions, whatever the case may be. This class is filling up, space is limited. And honestly, I get more excited every day just seeing who is popping into this beautiful container, because this is going to be a very raw, very transparent, engaging course. And the folks who are signing up, I know are going to bring it. I know that they're going to show up, and they're going to show up. So learn more about it. If it's something that you are interested in, I think that this is a beautiful time as we are stepping in, especially to the latter part of this year, the second part of 2020, because man, things are getting ready to kick off big in the second part of 2020. It's going to be a lot. So again, if you feel called, check it out. The second thing that I, of course, want to touch on is Uvalde and the mass shootings and, just what has taken place this week. Of course, my heart goes out to everyone affected. And at the same time, I feel like, our hearts and our prayers and all of these things are just not enough, right? I really felt called to step into the records yesterday and to channel through a message from the Akashic Records about Uvalde and like what happened there, but also just the mass shootings in general here in the US. And so that is a bonus podcast that I just released today. And I will, of course, include another link so you can check that out. But highly recommend. It's a beautiful message, of course, always philosophical. They give us a really nice, rounded understanding of what's going on, why these things are going on. They give us some insight into beauty that is coming out of this. And it's really cool because one of the things that they showed me very clearly when I was channeling this yesterday morning was that some of the children who were affected by this are literally going to be our leaders of the world. They're going to live with us forever. And they're going to be the generation, that really is able to turn the US around in the way that it should be and help facilitate that change because they've lived it. They understand it. And I think it was last night, right before I was going to bed, I did not sleep last night, like 2 hours maybe. But I came across this article about one of the girls who, and forgive me, I can't remember the specifics. I can't remember if she was in the classroom or if she was in a closed classroom, but she told her parents, I'm going to be a lawyer and I'm going to make sure that this doesn't happen when I'm old enough. And that was really cool. Everything serves a purpose, and that doesn't diminish our grieving, and that doesn't diminish the horrible things that are taking place, nor should it diminish the action that we want to take and being more aware and being more conscious and asking ourselves how it is we may have also been a part of this, even though we weren't potentially physically there or anything of that nature. And the records really speak on these things and give us some beautiful things to sit with and inquire about, because, we are all one. And that means we are all the assailant, the killer, the shooter in this action. We all have aspects of that within all of us. In addition, we are all part of those children. And so what does that mean, right? What does that mean for us? What is it that we can do in these times? How can we give back? How can we help change? And I think it's important to talk about these things. And I think it's important to talk about these things with our families. I don't have children, but if I did, I absolutely would be talking about these things with my children and getting their take and hearing their wisdom, because children are so wise and they have so much to teach us. And I think especially with things like this, but really bringing these things to the forefront instead of pushing them aside. Because, we'll have another news story next week. And like even last night when I was on the BBC, I was like thinking, wow, in the span of like 2 days, like it's difficult for me even to find an article about Ukraine on like the top news page, and big things are happening there too, right? Lives are being lost every single day there. And this isn't all weight that we need to carry, at the same time. I think I mentioned this last week. In fact, I'm quite sure that I did. I know that I mentioned it in the podcast that was released today, but especially in these times, it is so, so important for us to protect ourselves energetically every single day, to really make that part of our practice. Yesterday, I woke up later. I have had one train wreck of a time sleeping this week. Anyway. I woke up later. I was in a great mood. Things were, whatever. I was feeling good. And all of a sudden I started getting really anxious and I started feeling very off and irritated. And it came into my awareness. It was like, this is not yours. And I was like, because I hadn't said my morning prayer. And I certainly hadn't called in my guides and my protection for the day, which is something that I do every single day. But because I had slept in, when I woke up, I had kind of like jumped into my day instead of like, doing those morning things that are just part of my daily routine that are non-negotiables in my life. And so, of course, I called in my guides, I cleared out my energy, and all of that was gone. And it didn't come back the rest of the day. But these are things that are so important for us right now. And I just want to really encourage you to make that a practice. I will link out a blog that I wrote as well. Let me just add that to my list while I'm talking here, about multiple different ways to protect, like how to protect yourself energetically. We're all different and we all respond to things differently. So, there's no one size fits all. My article gives several options, and if none of them resonate with you, that's totally fine. Obviously, go to Google has it covered. Okay. Try different things, see how they work for you. One of the things that has been most helpful for me in my protection practice, and I call in Archangel Michael specifically. I also, like my computer area is gridded out in black tourmaline. I carry black tourmaline with me when I leave my home. There's smoky quartz in my vehicles because they're great for protection when you're driving. There's a number of different things that I do, but specifically with Archangel Michael and with my guides in general, I'm very firm about exactly what it is I want, to come into my space. And I'm very clear about my boundaries with that. I have them clear things out. And so don't be afraid to be like, this is what I want. It's got to go. Because sometimes you got to be, and I think that's perfectly okay. That is what they're here for, is to help us. Okay. So this past week, again, curious to hear how it was for you. For me, I think that it was funny because one of the things that really stuck with me all week long was like the first part of the channeling from last week, when it was like, it's going to be a great week. You're going to feel good, more good energy. And I was like, cool, and that was definitely like the feeling that I took away from it. And then a lot happened this week, not just on the public stage, but like in my own personal life. As I mentioned a minute ago, I was really struggling to sleep this week. I think just energetically, I have been so attuned, and I always usually am very attuned to the collective's energy and really have to watch that within myself. But lately it's really been heightened. And I think, there's my stuff, there's my partner's stuff, there's everyone else's stuff. And yeah, I honestly don't fully understand why I haven't been sleeping great, but I haven't been. And that has definitely been wreaking havoc on my week because I need my rest. That being said, honestly, it's been a super easy, chill week. It's been really nice in that way. And yeah, when I'm staying true to my energetic practice, things flow really well. So a couple of the things they touched on last week that I wanted to point out, practicing gratitude. This is again, another one of those daily practices for me, or like almost daily. I need gratitude in my life. And there's really, like, besides prayer, there's not a practice that I would say is more powerful for myself and in my life. I have spoken about it in depth on my podcast. I actually have another episode coming out about it in the future. But it's huge. Gratitude has saved my life 2 different times and brought me out of the darkest places. So gratitude. If you're finding yourself really struggling right now, especially with all that's happening on the world, on the world landscape, and wondering what's going on, practice gratitude. Another thing that they really spoke about that I thought really wanted to point out is, compassion is most needed at this time. Know that you never know what is happening in someone else's life. And honestly, that really stuck out to me when I was listening back to the reading earlier this morning. And it stuck out to me from the shooter's perspective. We always want to vilify someone. We want to point the fingers, we want to yell and scream, and we want to jump in and be really polarizing about whose side it is and all of these different things. And we forget that we're all complicit in different ways. And again, something really beautiful that the record spoke on in the reading about the mass shootings that went live this morning. But we don't understand. I mean, like, what makes a person walk in and shoot a bunch of young kids? That's a very sick person. That's a very unloved person. That's a very lost person. And those are just things that we should remember. Like they spoke, the record spoke last week about our judgment of others, that people are feeling very fragile in these times. And that is the thing, it's like, I have been in the vehicle with my father or even my partner, or, over the past like 1 to 2 years, and maybe they'll like get mad at someone in traffic and like honk their horn or like throw up a middle finger, or and I'm just like, no, don't do that. Like, they're on the edge right now. These are not times to like push even further. We really have to have compassion where people are at. We have no idea, maybe they're completely freaked out because they're getting ready to lose everything. They can't feed their family. They can't feed themselves. They've lost their job. There's so much right now. And it's really important for us to not get lost there. And then the last thing that I just wanted to point out that they spoke on is try to get to the root of what is going on, and what is the root of going on. I mean, you could take the shootings as an example. And again, going back to the reading that I channeled through about them, they really spoke about how like this shooter is just, it is a symptom of our society in general. And it is because America is sick. It is because things are not well in this country. And that is the root, that people are born into these lives in this country, all over the world, without love, without food, without safety, without a roof over their head. I mean, there's just a number of different things. And, for the reading specifically, I focused just on America, just to really hone in and get specific, because I wanted a really specific reading. But of course, this extends everywhere, and it's an example for everything on earth at this time, right? What's happening in Ukraine, Yemen, India, like, the Palestinians, subject people don't talk about very much, which don't even get me started on all of that. But like, the thing is that everything is a symptom of where it's at, of what it's living through, of these times, of the people who are in charge, of the history that is behind it. There's so much there. And that's why pointing fingers is a waste of time. We need to focus on solutions. We need to focus on providing a way. And it's not black and white. It blows my mind how everyone just like kind of like single file, like pairs off into their sides when things like this happen, instead of being like, there's a third option. There's always a third option, and it can have a piece of this and it can have a piece of this, because, both sides of the fence, there's truth in them. And let's think of a third solution. Let's think more. Let's innovate. Let's step outside of ourselves. We can do that. So that's basically really all that I kind of wanted to point out from last week's reading. Again, I'd love to hear if there's anything you would like to share before we kind of get moving and grooving today. It's funny because I was thinking like, man, I'm so exhausted. And first of all, I'm really thankful that Zoom takes out the bags. But I was like, oh, am I going to be able to even speak today on this? And clearly I have a lot to say. Okay, because we're 25 minutes in already. Okay. So let me share tunes here. That way you can hear the music along with me and enjoy. By the way, if anyone is interested in this background music, you can find it on Dream Porting. Dream or Dreams Porting. It is available for you. It just puts me in a really nice space. So I utilize it for a lot of my workshops, for my initiations that I do with folks who learn how to read the Akashic Records with me. It is Dream Porting. Okay. Dream Porting with Elijah Ray. So let's just go ahead and kind of sink in here. Per usual, just putting hand on heart. Just beginning to touch in with yourself, with the body that is beneath your hand, the heart chakra. How does it feel this week? Does it feel open and expansive? Does it feel constricted, painful, touchy? Just see what is there. No need to put any judgment on it or name it or anything of that nature. Just feel. Feel into the place that you are sitting. Just allow your body to really sink in. Whether you're laying down, sitting in a chair, cross-legged, whatever works for you. Just kind of feel out this space that's around you, the room that you're in. Does it have an energetic vibration? Does it have a feeling? Does it help you to relax? Does it put you a little bit on edge? Is it a neutral space? Just being aware. Again, not judging it, letting it be whatever it is. As always, when it comes to these readings, I recommend sitting in a quiet place, putting in headphones, something where you can give your full attention, but just allow it to wash over you. Know that the words that are meant to resonate with you will sink in. Let the others go. Don't feel the need to understand everything or to make sense of what is coming through. It's a message that you can return to as many times as you want. And I would suggest returning to it throughout the week. You need to recenter. Find some peace or encouragement. Connect with that heart space. Go quiet for a minute or two here to just really sink in. And to open the records. And I'll be back with our message. Just keep connecting with yourself. Seeing what comes to the surface. Comes into your mind. Try not to judge it, but simply to be aware. Simply see how it feels. Pay attention to that above all. master teachers, loved ones, what can you share with us about the week ahead? What can we look forward to? What should we be cautious about? What do we most need to know? What is this week's forecast message? It is here that we reside with you. Reside in the most holiest of ways, touching in and connecting within this space, in your time, wherever it is that you may be at this moment. Know that we are connecting with you, around you, about you, and through you. For you are us and we are you. And all is one. One is a lesson that's been coming through clearly this week through the events and tragedies that are taking place on your planet at this time. Shedding blood, crying tears, lives lost, all for a very specific purpose. You need not worry that anything is lost in vain, for of course it is not. Everything serves a purpose. Everything, everyone, it all comes together, strives and falls, bounces and pulls, goes in different and opposite directions before coming back together as one, always one. Our hearts go out to you as we know so many are in pain at these times, in these times. Yet it is through this pain that you are waking up to the world that has been built around you, piece by piece, block by block. Walls have been built, walls that must be torn down. Are you seeing them more clearly now? Can you see a little bit more about why it is that your voice, your work, your presence is so needed upon this planet at this time? For you, yes, even you, are being called to stand erect, are being summoned forward, so that you might stand at attention, knowing your place, coming to understand your role on this planet. Painful things happen. In the midst of evolution, transformation. Count your blessings in this. And yes, we mean that even in these times, for there is so much to be thankful for, always to be thankful for. So much. In this week, there will be more ahead, more that brings pain, intensity, perhaps even friction in your personal and daily lives. Dance with this rhythm and tune. See it for what it is, a beckoning to the dance floor to open you up wide, to allow you to release a little bit more of that control you wish to have on the world around you. That was always an illusion. But of course, you never wanted to see it that way. Through the dance and movement of your body, you are breaking free, you are letting loose. You are learning to ebb and flow with these changing times. There will also be harmony and a coming together. Do not think that in the midst of darkness there cannot also be light, for that is when it shines its brightest. That is when it comes forward, unannounced, but oh so clear, undeniable in its presence, that no one can look away. Allow your heavy hearts to fall to the ground. Allow them to be broken when they need to be. Only picking up the pieces that truly matter, knowing that these pieces will come back together, building new hearts, new places amongst your heart of hearts. Allow yourself to grieve when needed. Allow yourself to go to these places, for that is what you are being called to do, instead of simply looking away. In the midst of the harmony that is coming forward, you will also see with clearer eyes. You will be able to reach out your hand and feel something reaching back, a connection, a synapsis, a sweet, sweet coming together. It is energy upon energy. It is person aligned with person in unity, more and more and more. As the light gets brighter, more hands come together to till the land, to do the work, to bring into fruition the creations of what will be. Your future self calls you forward. Answer that call. Know that in the week ahead, you will be called to sleep and rest your body more so than normal. Please give yourself these allowances, for there is so much shifting on the planet at this time that it puts great weight upon the body. Do not push yourself too hard, otherwise you can find yourself in the midst of sickness, which is a part of dis-ease. Be very cautious. Nurture yourself on the inside and fall into alignment with what this channel has shared regarding protection. Call your teams in. Ask your helpers out. Let them know what it is you need. Do not be shy. Do not hold back. Do not believe that they are greater than you, for even they are evolving in their own evolution and their own experiences through their guidance of you. You are on the same team. Let them know what you need, and do not hold back. For in the times to come, you will need them more and more. And yes, of course, you must do your work, do your part, for they cannot take care of it all for you. You must put into place the daily practices. You must learn to care for yourself in a way that is aligned for you, so that they may meet you halfway, pulling you the rest of the way in whatever area of your life it is that you need help at this time. Rest in the stillness. Take in the peaceful moments. And be kind to yourself. One of the things that really stood out to me towards the end of that message was they were showing me, like, instead of choosing to turn on the TV, just sitting in the stillness of your home, just allowing yourself to really take that in, really kind of marinate in that stillness, in that quiet. If you do have kids and they've gone to bed, or perhaps just in the evening when things are quieter in general, choosing some calm for yourself instead of adding to the noise that might be in your head or in your world at the time. Just really going with that. This felt like a very powerful message. There were a lot of different things that they were showing me along the way. It's so hard, to channel sometimes, because I'm channeling and I'm also seeing things and I want to share it all. And there's no real way to do that. It's the difference, I guess, between like 2D and 3D, right? How I've been shown this before is, the difference between like opening up one file cabinet and seeing the information versus being able to open up 3 at one time and see all of that information at once. I'd be all over the place if I was trying to share all the different things, but it really feels like, some of the energy that we had this week, we will continue. We are still integrating the eclipses, the eclipse season that we just went through. Those things are still taking place within our energetic fields. Our bodies are going through so many different upgrades, changes. You know, the human body is amazing, but we are moving at an exponential speed these days. And I know that, you know, like at least when I was a kid, I would always hear my parents say like, "Oh my gosh, time is moving faster, you know, time flies." You know, I'm sure you've heard the same thing, but that's literally what's happening in these times. And that's why we can heal and we can grow, we can make really, really big shifts in our life very quickly. I don't know if that's anything that you've noticed within your own life, but I've seen it within mine that sometimes even just having an awareness of something helps me to fully shift it. Um, or stepping into, you know, doing a little bit of healing work can really help me to move through something that I know just intuitively would have taken me a lot longer to do before. And but they were just really showing me, you know, that this upcoming week is going to require a lot from us. And so be tender with yourselves and really take care, and rest was something, you know, a big theme that I was seeing. Rest for the body, rest for the mind, rest in whatever it is, whatever way that you can have that, and to not push yourself, you know, not make yourself do things. There's obviously things we have to do, but when you can let off the pedal, do that. Honor yourself, you know, in that. Um, Trying to touch in here to see if there's more things that they want me to speak about or to elaborate on. Yeah, they're just saying, just remind them everything serves a purpose. Everything serves a purpose. And it makes it really difficult to understand life sometimes, you know, when there are tragedies, horrific events, parents losing children, you know, people losing loved ones, um, any number of things. I could, of course, make an entire list of, you know, famine, things that are happening all over the world at this time. And one is not above the other. They're all connected. Let's see, is there anything else? They're really showing me that they just really want you to sit with this message and for you to really resonate on how it sits with you. This one feels very important. Um, for you to understand it in your own way. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I'd love to hear how the reading resonated with you. Please share it with anyone who might benefit, like, subscribe, do the things. If you enjoyed this. And yeah, be sure to check out the Confidence series again if you are really looking to do some beautiful, transparent healing work for yourself. And, you know, confidence isn't something that I believe anyone can have 100% of the time or be fully healed in. It's an emotion, you know, like ebbs and flows, just like all of life. And I think even the most confident people sometimes wake up in the morning and think like, I am a fraud. There's no way I can do what I need to do today. People aren't going to show up for me. You know what I mean? So many different things. But this beautiful, beautiful series is really going to provide so many tools, activations. We're going to have workbooks. We're going to be doing some breath work. We're going to be doing it's going to be awesome. So make sure to check it out. Feel free to contact me again if you have any questions. I'm happy to help you ensure that it's the right fit for you. And anything else I can do. I am wishing you a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Happy Memorial Weekend for those here in the United States. But nonetheless, wishing you a gorgeous weekend. And yeah, well, we've got June's Akashic reading coming out this upcoming Wednesday. And it's a big one. We got a big month coming. Yeah. So make sure to check that out. Otherwise, I will see you here next Friday. Much love. I'm going to go marinate in this Akashic energy for a bit longer and see my eyes. It's like, oh.